Most people think the power of Coca-Cola comes from the recipe, like it's some ultra-secret formula that no one can ever recreate. But let's be real. The market is full of drinks that taste almost the same. Blind taste tests keep showing the same thing. Most people can't reliably tell Coke apart from cheaper alternatives. So, if the flavor can be copied, why hasn't anyone copied the success? Because this business was never built around the product. It was built around human behavior. Decades ago, the people running this company figured out something simple. If you control the moment when people drink something, you don't need to control the drink itself. That's why it shows up everywhere. Holidays, sports events, schools, the military, gas stations, movie theaters, hospitals. No matter where you are, there's usually a Coke within arm's reach. They didn't wait for people to want a soda. They trained the habit first, then made sure the brand was always right there. That's also why the money didn't go only into ads. A huge part of the investment went into owning the moment of consumption. The goal was simple: be where the people are, where foot traffic is heavy, where options are limited, and where decisions are made on impulse. When someone wants a drink right now, they don't stop to compare brands. To understand how this system works, you have to separate the brand from the physical business. Production, bottling, storage, and delivery aren't handled by the central company. That work is done by local partners operating under licenses in their own regions. They build the plants, buy the equipment, hire the workforce, run the truck fleets, negotiate with retailers, and make sure the product is actually on the shelf. That's also where the costs sit. Power, water, bottles, cans, fuel, wages, taxes, logistics. When prices go up or demand drops, the pressure hits the local operator first. The global structure stays mostly removed from day-to-day operations and doesn't carry those risks directly. The central role is different. It focuses on concentrate production, brand control, long-term strategy, marketing direction, standards, and global agreements. Selling concentrate brings in steady revenue with high margins, low production cost, and very little exposure to local problems. For regional companies, this setup makes sense. Launching a new brand from scratch means high spending, uncertain demand, and tough access to retail space. A license offers instant name recognition, built-in trust, predictable volume, and easier conversations with large chains. It's not about squeezing out maximum margin. It's about consistency and survival. On paper, partners remain independent. In reality, they're locked into the system. Production standards, product mix rules, coordinated campaigns, and pricing frameworks limit how much freedom they actually have. Walking away would mean losing infrastructure, market access, and the core of the business. During downturns or consumption drops, local operators take the first hit. Volumes fall, costs stay put, margins tighten. At the same time, revenue from concentrate and licensing continues to flow, allowing the central structure to ride out rough periods without major disruption. What this creates is a system where labor and expenses are spread out, control stays centralized, and responsibility is decentralized. Even if one partner underperforms, it can be replaced without damaging the overall structure. At this point, it's clear who invests, who runs operations, and who absorbs the risk. The real question left is this: how control over points of sale is maintained, and why competitors rarely reach the consumer in the first place. Once you understand the role of the partners, the next question is obvious. How does this company hold the market when there are technically dozens of competitors? The answer isn't advertising. It isn't flavor. It's access to the point of sale. In most consumption spots, space is limited. A cooler has a few shelves. A vending machine has a fixed number of slots. A menu can only be so long. Whoever controls that space basically decides the choice before the purchase even happens. That's why long-term deals matter so much with restaurants, movie theaters, Stadiums, airports, gas stations, schools. Many of those agreements include exclusivity or tight limits on competing brands. From the outside, it just looks like normal shelf presence. In reality, competition gets filtered out during negotiations. What reaches the consumer is a pre-selected lineup, not the full market. In that environment, decisions are fast and almost automatic, especially for impulse buys. Product variety adds another layer. Alongside classic soda, there's water, zero sugar options, juice, iced tea, energy drinks. If someone avoids one product, they usually pick another and stay inside the same system. That reduces losses and strengthens control over the space. For smaller brands, the real problem isn't creating a good recipe, it's scaling. Even with a solid product, access to mass retail is limited. Logistics are expensive, negotiations are tough, and marketing without physical presence doesn't move the needle. As a result, many stay local or end up getting acquired by larger players. Retailers and partners also prefer stability. Predictable supply, steady demand, and low risk make the existing setup convenient. Change means experimentation, and experimentation means extra cost. So the market itself reinforces the balance. From the consumer's point of view, everything looks fair. There are a few options, different flavors, different packages, but the key decisions were already made earlier, at the level of contracts, logistics, and access to space. The final choice happens inside boundaries that were set long before. That's how control works without open warfare. There's no need to aggressively push competitors out. It's enough to be present where consumption happens and lock that presence in over time. At this point, the picture is almost complete. It's clear who produces, who carries the risk, who controls access, and why competition feels weak. One last question remains: how this system adjusts when tastes change and demand for sugary drinks keeps declining. Consumption of sugary sodas has been trending down for years across many countries. Changing diets, more focus on health, government regulation, and sugar taxes have slowly cut demand for the classic formats. For most brands, that kind of shift would be a serious threat. In this case, the model turned out to be far more flexible. The key difference is simple. Revenue isn't tied to one specific product. It's tied to the system. When people cut back on sugar, they're pushed towards zero sugar options, bottled water, tea, or another format. The product mix changes, but the infrastructure doesn't. No major rebuild, no logistics overhaul, no loss of shelf space. Packaging plays its own role. Smaller sizes, new formats, multi-packs, different price tiers, all help adjust to purchasing power without losing presence. People might buy less volume, but they buy more often or switch to another option inside the same system. Regulatory pressure is uneven as well. Sugar taxes and ad restrictions hit specific categories, not the entire structure. One part of the portfolio takes the hit, another part offsets it. Risk doesn't pile up in one place. Once again, local partners absorb most of the operational pressure. They adjust the product mix, shift production ratios, and cut costs where needed. The central structure keeps control over the brand and the concentrate, earning revenue no matter which drink is selling at the moment. Another important point is that the system doesn't require constant growth. Even flat consumption doesn't break the business. The real value is access to the consumer. As long as points of sale exist, coolers are stocked, vending machines are placed, and contracts stay active, the machine keeps running. So changing trends don't look like a crisis. They look like a course correction. Products evolve, recipes get updated, volumes shift, but the foundation stays the same. A system built around distribution and access handles taste changes far better than brands tied to a single product. The final takeaway is straightforward. This isn't about soda. It's not even about sugar. It's about infrastructure control, standards, contracts, and consumption habits. That's what allows this model to survive for decades and adapt to almost any market shift. What looks like a beverage brand on the surface is, in reality, a distribution and access system disguised as an everyday consumer product. If this breakdown was useful, hit like. It helps the video reach more people. Drop a comment with the next business you want analyzed. And subscribe. This channel breaks down real business models without myths or oversimplification.